Hey guys, so you may notice I don't have my microphone set up. That's because so what's been going on? Why haven't I produced any more videos and uploaded them to YouTube? Why am I seemingly sitting on my ass when I could be producing videos? Is it because of the whole Omega Pirate thing in Metroid Prime and the shitty, terrible puzzle in Star Fox Adventures? Partly. I'm not going to deny, actually a large part of it is the Omega Pirate. I really don't want to face him. So I've kind of been taking a break from that. So what happened? Last Thursday, would have been the 17th, I had an appointment with my psychiatrist to discuss my medications, to go over whether or not things are working, things are not working, what's going on. That appointment was at 1 in the afternoon, which, given the fact that I have to drive an hour to get there and an hour to get back, means, of course, that I have to start from here at noon. Thank you, Windows, for interrupting. Which means I have to be awake by noon, and, awake and in a state to drive by noon. And, that would not normally be a problem for me, except my cat, Scarmeleon, decided that evening that the absolute most perfectly fun toy in the entire goddamned world was my feet. So every 5 minutes, he would attack my feet, making it impossible for me to go to sleep. Absolutely impossible for me to go to sleep. I was so tired by the time it was time for me to wake up. I set my alarm. I continue, and this is something I do all the time, but normally I have time to do this. I set my alarm back a few minutes at a time each time, because it's like, I need a little bit more time. I need a few more minutes. So I'd set the alarm, try to go back to sleep. The cat would attack my feet. I'd wake up, set the alarm, try to go back to sleep. Cat would attack my feet, etc. So finally, I did go to sleep at about 11:30 in the morning, and I woke myself up at 12:10, which means I had to speed from here to my psychiatrist appointment in order to get there on time. Now, I was late, but so was he, so it kind of worked out. So I'm not in trouble for that. I'm upset that it happened, but I'm not in trouble for it. And I informed him of the cat incident, and he was amused by it. He was like, it's a kitten. What are you gonna do? Kittens have boundless energy, and when they decide that something is the perfect toy, they can't be dissuaded. So, had to go to the store, unfortunately had to go to Walmart because I needed my prescriptions filled, because the meds that he was checking on had run out the night before, which is another reason why my sleep was fucked up. Didn't tell him that, but it's the truth. Another reason that my sleep was so fucked up is that my chemical balance in my body was off because I was out of my pills. So, got my pills, got some stuff that I needed at Walmart, because I needed food and stuff. Was so tired that on my way back, I kept falling asleep at the wheel, which is a really, really big problem. Never, ever, 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 ever drive while you're tired, because I will tell you right now, I am amazed I did not drive off the road. I was not proud of it, but I desperately needed to get home so I could go back to sleep. And I actually did. I got home, emptied my car because there was some perishable stuff in there because I got food at Walmart, and laid down in bed for an hour, couldn't go to sleep. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to set everything up so I can sit down and watch TV and maybe set up my recording equipment so I could do some recording. And the moment I moved my first item, just boom, out. And I was gone for 4 hours. Now, I was home by about 4. So I laid in bed, like I said, about an hour. By that point, it was 5:30. Passed out at about 6. And then at 10 in the evening, I woke back up. Well rested, but it was I couldn't not fall asleep. I was that freaking tired. And by that point, it was like, you know what, I want to wake up, watch my shows, what's left of them, and be done with it. I don't want to deal with, and I was like, I know I'm going to run out of videos. I don't want to deal with it right now. And I intended to make this video back then. Which tells you just how busy this week has been. Now, for those of you who don't know, I don't really celebrate Christmas. I've been meaning to, start trying to get gifts and stuff for friends and family. It's just never happened because I usually have a shit ton of work to do, and I never get around to actually purchasing gifts. And this year was no different. I actually even had a list of stuff that I was going to get, and it never came to pass because there was so much stuff going on. I actually got more done at work this past week than I think I've done all year. I mean, literally, every day I'd go in, and I'd be working on 3 different problems at once, while my co-workers were also working on 3 different problems at once. And at the same time, I'm the one who's in the office directing everything. So it's like, when shit hits the fan like this, I'm the one who has to make sure that everything is moving smoothly. So in addition to the multiple setups per night that I was working on, I had to make sure that everything else was going smoothly. And, if there were any problems, if it was something I could fix, I could say, give me a moment, let me fix this, and I'll come over to that. And, and so it progressed like that every night. And so every night I would come home and be absolutely exhausted. And so this Thursday came along, and it was Christmas Eve, and I said, you know what? Fuck it. I really just need a me day. So I did. I took a day, and I sat back, I vegged, I relaxed. I had a great time. I made a lasagna. I ate 2/3 of the lasagna in one sitting because I was that goddamn hungry. And this is after having gone to a restaurant for lunch because I could, because it was my day off, and this particular restaurant decided to stay open for Christmas Eve. They were not open today, which is fine because it's Christmas, and also I didn't wake up until 4. So there's that. Because really, I was that tired, and I've been that absolutely worn out all week. And that's why I haven't made any new videos. Another big thing that has been going on, that is another reason I haven't made any new videos, I received, this was like a month back, I received the little box that would let me record footage from RF feeds, which is huge because this allows me to do my Atari 2600, my Atari 5200, my Famicom, yeah, those are the three big ones at least. And I've been looking forward to doing that for some time. And I finally set it up sometime in the last 2 weeks. I don't remember exactly when I did it, but I did it. I set it up, I got all the software done, downloaded, installed, and everything. I haven't gotten everything set up in XSplit. I don't know if it'll work in XSplit yet. I haven't tried. But I suspect it will. XSplit is really good about using, checking what video feeds you have and giving you that option then when you go to record. That's why I'm able to do the webcam during my feeds, because while I'm recording. I don't, like a lot of other YouTubers will do processing afterwards. They'll do it in post. They add the video from the webcam separately from the video from the video game footage, and so when it comes out, they have to sync it up, they have to do all that, and the end result is usually a lot better, but I don't have time for that, and so I've foregone that, and I've been using XSplit, which requires a monthly subscription, which blows, but at the same time, it's really, really freaking usable. I mean, it's actually pretty good at what it does. So I like it, and so I've been using it, and so I need to test and see if this box will work with XSplit. The reason this is a big deal is because within the last 2 weeks, I have gotten my Famicom Disk System working, which is huge. Just gigantic. I had, at the time, 2 discs. Determined one of them is actually bad, which is fine. It kind of pisses me off, but it was sold to me as is, untested. So I'm not too worried about it. It was my disc for Super Mario Bros. 2. The real Super Mario Bros. 2. The Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. And yes, I do consider the American Super Mario Bros. 2 a real Mario Brothers game, even though a lot of people are like, oh, well, it was modeled after Doki Doki Panic, and it's not at all a real game, and, well, it is. It's absolutely, it was intended to be a Mario game originally, and Toei TV, which is the, I believe it's Toei, the company that has the mascots that made up the game characters for Doki Doki Panic, approached Nintendo while they were making this game, and it's actually a joint combination, and if you look at promotional materials from the time, it was very obvious that they intended it to be a Mario game from the get-go. And it was a later decision by the Nintendo executives to say, well, we have this deal with Toei, we need to make a game for them, let's make Doki Doki Panic. Neither here nor there. Doki Doki Panic is another game that was for the Famicom Disk System, and I don't have it. So, it's very hard to find, it's very expensive, and I'm not willing to spend that kind of money right now on a game that I could actually play on my on my NES for $5. It's not worth it. So, the games I do have, or the games I did have at the time, I had Super Mario Bros. 2, I had Tennis, which was on the B side of Super Mario Bros. 2, and then I had Metroid, which I've been really looking forward to, because Metroid on the Disk System was different from the Metroid that we got in the States. The sound quality is infinitely better. I mean, there are sound effects that are used in that version of the game that we never got, because the sound channels on the NES, there weren't enough. There weren't enough sound channels on the NES to have that many sounds programmed into the cartridge, so they couldn't do it. But they could do it on the Disk System, and they did. and it's phenomenal. It sounds amazing. It's, I mean, really, I can't describe it. It looks gorgeous. You know, the parts with the elevators that later became a staple of the series. They were originally intended on the Famicom Disk System, which was the system that it was originally released on, as loading screens. That's why you had an elevator, was so that you could say, well, Samus is still descending the elevator while the game is loading Norfair, for example. And it would take, you know, 30 seconds or so for the game to load Norfair. Hey, bud. So it was a loading screen, is what it was. But the big, important, phenomenal thing was Metroid for the Famicom Disk System can be saved. You don't have to write down shit tons of passwords. It's saved. It's saved on the medium. So you can create your own game, save it, come back to it 20 years later, and it's the same kind of thing that the passwords had, where, you know, when you start up the game new, you only have 30 health, and you start in the same starting spot. You don't start in Norfair, you start at the starting spot in Brinstar. You might be able to start Norfair, I don't know, I haven't actually tried, but, hi, bud. But you can save the game, and it saves all of your, you know, all your power-ups, all of your everything, and it's so useful. Because, again, you could just start up the game, and it's there. It's ready to go. You don't have to worry about anything. Now, in the meantime, I have gotten 2 more games for the system. 3 more games, technically. 2 more discs for the system. One of them is the aforementioned Super Mario Bros. 2. I got it because I was really disappointed that this disc that I had didn't work. And also this seller that sold me Metroid happened to have the Mario Brothers disc for like 25 bucks. It's like, I can't pass that up. And it was tested and working. And the B-side was Super Mario Brothers. Which is like, wow, you know, yes, Super Mario Brothers was a game that was originally released. God damn it, really? Windows is fucking stupid. It never knows when something is plugged in or not. Anyway, Super Mario Bros. Was originally released as a cartridge for the Famicom itself, not for the Famicom Disk System. But they released it for the Famicom Disk System because they really wanted to get people interested in the Famicom Disk System. So, A-side on this disc is Super Mario Bros. 2, and B-side is Super Mario Bros., which is really cool. I think it's really cool. And the other game that I got is the launch title for the Famicom Disk System, Legend of Zelda: A Hyrule Fantasy. And yes, it's Zelda no Densetsu, A Hyrule Fantasy. But that's neither here nor there. It's Legend of Zelda. It's the actual Legend of Zelda. Which, again, because it's on the Famicom Disk System, it has a much better sound quality, much more sound, more varied sounds, I should say. Different sound effects for different things. And it was a feature that, when it came to the States, it was a big deal, but you could save games on the disc. So that's something I've played it a little bit. I haven't really gotten into it, but I have played it a little bit, and it's Legend of Zelda. You know, it's kind of cool. It has a lot of English in the beginning, because the game, it was written. Of course, it was written in Japanese, but Nintendo really wanted it to have this sort of, European feel, and the way they did that, they had the opening fairy tale in English, but it's really broken English. I mean, the one that came to the States was pretty broken. This is a different type. This is a different tale, but it's a lot more broken English. It's just really, really broken. It's kind of funny. But as a result, these are games that I would like to play at some point. Metroid is almost certainly going to be the first one I do, because I'm a huge fan of Metroid. Obviously, I play Metroid Prime on the channel. Scarmelion is attacking Toulouse right now. He's freaking out. Scarmelion is freaking out because I just got rid of his newest favorite toy. I had a box sitting on top of a large pile of stuff in my room, the base of which is an Edison phonograph, like an actual Edison disc player. And so I've got packing materials that I set on top of it. And he discovered that one of those boxes that's sitting on top of it was full of packing peanuts. And oh my god, he freaked the fuck out. So he started climbing this rather rickety and rather tenuous pile of boxes to get packing peanuts out of this box. And so every once in a while I'd find him with another packing peanut. I'm like, where the hell are you getting these? And I'd throw it away. Well, he'd go up, get another one, and start playing with it. So it's like, you know, so finally I caught him in the act a couple days ago, and he'd knocked down most of the boxes by this point. I don't know how he hadn't killed himself. So I was like, alright, you know, I'm going to set everything back up, and if I catch you doing it again, you're in trouble. And tonight I caught him doing it again. So I grabbed that box down, I dumped it in the trash, and I put it outside. And I was like, now you don't have any fucking toys, you dumbass. So he's freaking out because he hates it when I take away his toys. It's garbage. So, anyway. That's what's been going on in my life. I've got a lot of shit that's been going on. Oh, that's another thing. One of the big things, and the reason I don't have my microphone out right now, I didn't want to dig for it. It's actually buried right now because I've been buying textbooks, and I've been buying textbooks because I intend to go back to school in August of this year, this coming year, obviously. 2016. August of 2016, I intend to return to school. My triumphant return to the astrophysics program of New Mexico Tech, which I had to leave due to financial concerns in 2009. Tore me apart. I hated doing it, but I had to leave. I couldn't afford to continue to go to school. I didn't have any money at the time. Technically, I couldn't really afford to live. You know, the only reason I was still in school at the time was because I desperately needed to continue to go to school to keep my job. I was working as a student on campus under work-study, which requires that you are a full-time student. It's really, really hard to be a full-time student when your job needs you for every waking moment that you're not in class. And they'd really like you for every waking moment that you are in class. So this became a huge point of contention with one of my jobs, where they insisted that I bring them my schedule so that they could look at my class schedule and put my work schedule around it to fill up all of my time. Literally all of my time. And then people started wondering why I wasn't doing my homework, why I wasn't going to class, why I wasn't... Because I didn't have the time. I was working 24... I mean, constant work. So, I started that job over the summer of 2007. And over the summer, it was fine. I took a class so I could stay on campus, so I could live in campus housing. I took Math 335, which is Applied Analysis 1, or Ordinary Differential Equations, which, for me, was super easy. I knew everything that the class was talking about before I even went in. The professor, Dr. Bert Kerr, phenomenal teacher, love the man. He's just one of the best math professors I've ever had. Probably the only other math professor who comes even close would be Dr. Alan Sharples, also of the New Mexico Tech Math Department. But anyway, Bert Kerr and I developed a very strong teacher-student relationship to the point that this was a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday class. This was every weekday at 11 o'clock or so. This class took place. So, because it was the only class I was taking, I was able to get out of work for the hour and a half the class was, plus it was like an hour to walk back and forth. Not each, an hour total, half an hour to and half an hour from, because I lived, I worked at this place that was technically on campus, but it was like 2 miles away. So it was the only way I could do this was if I took, 3 hours off. So that's what I did. I took 3 hours off every day and went to class, ate, and went back to work. And it worked out perfectly. Barrett and I got this thing going on, and it got to a point where in class he would stop in the middle of doing problems, doing examples on the board. And one thing to know about Barrett Kerr, if the name wasn't a dead giveaway, he's a Scotsman, and so he has a very thick Scottish accent. And so he'd be doing a problem on the board, and he'd stop. Help me, Rhonda! And I was Rhonda. I was the person he was talking to, and I would tell him exactly what he needed to do next, because I had already worked the problem out. Unlike my peers who were following along because they had to, because they genuinely didn't understand the material, I was pages ahead of Dr. Kerr, and knew exactly what he was going to do. So I had my notes open and was like, "Oh, this is the answer you're looking for. Thanks." He'd go back to writing because he knew that I knew the material, and I aced the course naturally. I did better in that course, I think, than no, there was one other course that I had taken up to that point at New Mexico Tech that I did better at, and that was physics. Physics 1. But that's neither here nor there. This was a 300 level course. It was the first 300 level course that I'd ever taken. The following semester, fall of 2007, I had the opportunity finally to take Astrophysics 1, which is also a 300 level course. I was taking it alongside, what other classes was I taking? I was taking 332, Math 332, which is vector analysis at the time. I was taking a bunch of other classes too. I don't remember what they all were. But I had 12 credit hours, which is full-time status, because I had to, because I was working on campus as a student. And I aced astrophysics, and I got a B in Math 332. which, if you've ever tried to get into grad school, anybody will tell you, you want to do as good as you can from junior level on up. 300 level is junior level classes. And as the first 300 level courses I had been able to take, having that good a track record was phenomenal. I mean, I was on the road to grad school. But my job really didn't think that my academics was all that important. They really wanted me, and that was the semester that they said, give us your class schedule. We need to work your schedule around it so that you're here when we need you. And so that the end of that semester, I got a second job, because I wanted to be able to drop this job and still have something to go on. And so finally, at the end of the semester, I got another job with the Tech Computer Center, actually, as a repairman for them. And I didn't even bother with trying to keep both of them at the same time. I told the folks at my first job, I said, I told them the truth. What I told them was that my academics were just getting too much in the way, that I wasn't going to be able to put the effort forward at work that they wanted me to put forth. So I was voluntarily withdrawing myself from their employment. And they accepted that, and it was the truth. I wasn't able to do the amount of work that they wanted me to do and also do my classwork. So, it didn't work out. So I started working with the Tech Computer Center, and, well, they started pulling the same crap that same semester, the spring semester of 2008. Started pulling the exact same crap, started saying, look, you need to be here every chance you get. You really do need to be here as often as you can be. And in fact, they started pulling me, in the evenings, in the afternoon, literally every chance they got, I needed to be in the office. Which was horseshit, because stuff wasn't breaking. I was a maintenance technician, and so when stuff broke, it was my job to fix it. Well, stuff was breaking, but it wasn't maintenance related. It was usually system related, which is not something that maintenance people can deal with. It was something that the sysadmins needed to deal with, and so yeah, we had a huge backlog of shit that needed to be taken care of, but it wasn't anything that we could do. So we, that ended up being, it's like, they need to take care of it, not us. But as a result, they started pulling the same crap. So even though, again, Astrophysics 2, which was a 300 level course, I started taking Orbital Mechanics, which was Physics 389, a 300 level course. I was taking a 300 level math course too, I think. No, I must not have been. I don't remember what I was taking that semester, but those two were the two big ones, and I aced Astrophysics 2, and I got a B in Orbital Mechanics. So again, going forward with my best foot on my way to go to grad school, and my job was making it impossible to actually keep up with my academics. So, over the summer, again, I didn't take summer school over that summer, because by that point I had moved off campus. I had found a place to rent off campus, so I wasn't living on campus, so I didn't need to take summer school in order to continue to do what I was doing. I could keep my job over the summer as a student, even if I wasn't taking classes. It wasn't a problem. Fall semester came, and by that point, I'd actually taken on an actual second job, because at this point, the computer lab wanted me 24/7, and it's like, I can't do that. I have classes, I have homework, I have shit to do that's far more important than your piddly-ass bullshit. But they didn't understand that, so I took another job. I was actually the, well, I won't say what the job was. So, this second job started doing the same thing. You know, they insisted. It's like, well, no, you really need to be here when you're not in class. You need to be physically here. Because I was doing computer stuff again, and for the most part, my employers were not terribly computer savvy, so they expected me to be in the office so that if a computer problem came up, they could run to my office and say, hey, fix it. And it didn't work out. Well, that semester, I lost my financial aid. I officially lost my financial aid because I had been, doing 12 credit hours per semester. I had to drop most of them in order to keep my jobs, because ultimately, while academics were more important, survival immediately was far more important. So I needed to have money, so I had to drop multiple classes, and dropping classes counts as credit hours attempted but not earned, which under federal financial aid regulations means you can't, you are disqualified from financial aid if you have a certain percentage of credit hours attempted but not earned. And they were, the financial aid office at that point was not at all willing to listen to my pleas about it, because it's like, well, you need to be able to juggle work and school. And they were right, I needed to be able to do that, but I couldn't because work wanted me 24 hours a day, and school had to sit on the back burner as a result. So that semester I lost my financial aid, had to get a private loan from Chase, JP Chase Morgan Bank, which I do not recommend. I have told them now, and I will tell you now, that I will never use another Chase product ever again. It was the most horrendous dealing that I've ever made. I can't describe how awful they were with me when it came time to pay off my student loans, because the fact was, they covered me for the fall semester, and when I went back to get a loan for the spring semester, they said no. They were like, we covered you in the fall. Where's that money? It went to paying for the fall semester, right? Well, why didn't it pay for the spring semester too? Because I only asked you for enough for the fall semester, and they didn't understand that. And the fact was, their loan program could only be used once a year. I didn't know that. They didn't tell me that. So I ended up taking the spring semester without paying for it, which was a huge problem. I still haven't paid for it, and that's the reason why I'm starting in the fall, not the spring, because I still need to pay off about $2,500 worth of debt to the school in order to cover that semester. Even though I ended up withdrawing from absolutely everything that semester, I still signed a contract that said that I would pay that amount for the semester regardless of outcome of the grades or anything. I signed a contract because I needed an offset, a deferred payment plan is what they call it. And so I signed this contract saying that I would pay this, this, and this at this, this, and this date, And then when I didn't have any money, it's like, you know, how are you going to pay for it? You know, nobody was willing to give me a loan at that point, and so I had to drop out. Ultimately, it was for the best, because here I am, I work as, I mean, my official job title is Chief Technology Officer at New Mexico Skies, one of the premier observatories in the world. You know, we host the Dragonfly Telescope, we host Bill Young, who's the most prolific amateur asteroid finder in the world. We've hosted Caltech in the past. We host NASA right now. You know, I have all of this real-world experience in astronomy and physics. You know, it's... I ultimately, it paid off for me to not do that. But this fall, I'm going to be starting school again on a very part-time basis. I've decided no more than 2 classes and potentially associated labs per semester. So at most, right now my plan is 7 credit hours per semester. I will continue to be living here and working here. I will commute to Socorro once a week for 2.5 days. So I can take 2 days worth of classes, which is why it has to be, you know, each semester has to be scheduled either all my classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or all of my classes Tuesday, Thursday. And if it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the Monday class is going. I can't afford to be here, to be there 4+ days. It's not going to work out. I have to be here. So, you know, and that's something I'm going to have to talk to the professors of each individual class about, but it's the truth. I have a job that is full-time that takes precedence right now. Even though I do want to get my degree. But anyway, I got off on a very long tangent. All to say that I have a bunch of textbooks lying around the house right now. Some of them are brand new. Most of them are brand new. Some of them are textbooks that I had in storage that I had to dig out and find and clean off because storage is gross. But as a result, my microphone is buried, which is why I'm not using it right now. And that's why, that's another reason why I was hesitant to do anything yesterday, you know, Christmas Eve, because it's like, well, I would really have to dig all this crap out, and I really just, I can't. I don't have the room. You know, the space you see right now where I'm sitting is about the only open space in my, not apartment, but my living space right now. You can even see behind me here, there's a, behind me in this direction, there's a box sitting on top of this futon back here. There's been pillows back here for some time because I sleep on this futon because my bed is overloaded with stuff. And you know, there's just off camera this way and off camera this way, there is stuff just all over the place, and I need to sort it out, and I need to start taking stuff into storage, and I need to start throwing boxes away, because over half of this stuff is boxes. My employers recycle boxes, so, you know, I can't just throw them away. I have to take them in and break them down, so I haven't been doing that, which obviously is a problem. But it's a problem I need to deal with, and it's probably going to take another one of my days off to deal with it. I did order a new bookshelf to try and deal with this whole textbook problem. I ordered it from IKEA. It's decent bookshelf. It's a standard bookshelf that a lot of gamers have been using for media storage, and I may end up doing the same thing depending on the size of it. Depending on the size, depending on the overall storage capabilities of it, I may start ordering some more and putting my games on those instead to try and alleviate some of this space as well. But in the meantime, stuff that's going on, do I intend to come back to Metroid Prime? Yes, eventually. I don't know when it's going to be. It's probably not going to be this year. It's probably not going to be January. It might be February. I might come back to it in February and be like, hey, fantastic, I'm playing Metroid Prime again. I don't know. I don't know. I would like to start another Super Nintendo game or regular Nintendo game in addition to Metroid 1, which is a game that I am intending to play. I don't know what game I'm going to play next yet. I haven't figured that out. I might play Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. I might play... I don't want to play another Famicom Disk System game, but, it's like I have options. I just... There are plenty of things that I can be playing right now. I could be playing Morrowind, for Christ's sake. I started that game, and I haven't gone back to it yet. I could do it. If I so desired. So, things are going on. Work is happening. School will be happening. I'm really hoping when I go back, my first semester back is going to be rather difficult. I'm intending it to be kind of a bum rush back into school. I'm starting with Physics 333 and Math 336, which, if you recognize, are two junior level classes. I am actually officially a senior at New Mexico Tech. I have plenty of credit hours to be considered a senior, but I haven't taken very many junior level courses. Most of the courses that I've taken I have aced or done very well, got an B. Occasionally, the others I have failed or withdrawn, which looks terrible on my transcript because it's like, oh, there's this glaring F on a 300 level course, and so I intend to fix that. One of those Fs is Physics 333, and one of them is Math 336. It won't get rid of the F, but it will fix it. And I do fully intend to ace both classes. I do think it's possible. Physics 333 is electricity and magnetism, which doesn't sound terribly difficult. It sounds particularly innocuous, actually, but it's a very difficult, very rigorous course that covers the entirety of the concepts of electricity and magnetism within the span of 6 months. Less than that, really, 4 months. It's a strenuous course. It's very difficult. It is noted in the physics department as one of the most difficult courses in the physics department. It is not by itself considered a weed-out course, but it is a difficult course. If you cannot get through it the first time, you have a problem, and you probably shouldn't be pursuing a degree in physics. I didn't get through it the first time, but at the same time, the first time I took it, I was going through all that job trouble that I was talking about before, which was a big part of the problem. survival came before academics, and it always does. Survival is far and above the most important thing. If you can't survive and also go to school, survive, drop out, go somewhere, do something else. And that's what I did. But at the time, I hadn't done that. So survival ended up being more important than academics, and so I failed. This time, I'm surviving quite well, actually. I'm extremely comfortable with my survival. I can actually afford to go back to school. One semester with 1 credit hour after all applicable fees and such have been applied is approximately $1,000. 2 classes in 1 semester is about $1,600. Actually, it's not even that. It is. It's about $1,600. Give or take a little bit. Give or take 100. Which sounds like a lot, but it's less than full time, and it's also manageable with my current salary. $1,600 every 6 months is something I can do. Actually, I was, up until recently, paying $500 every month to pay off my student loan debts. And those are almost entirely paid off. The one debt that I was paying $500 a month is entirely paid off, and I'm super excited about that. I still have one student loan debt that I'm paying off, but I'm paying, they are giving me the absolute minimum payments per month, which will get me done in 9 years, which is absurd, but at the same time, it's like, hey, more money for actually going back to school. And part of the amazing thing here is that in going back to school, I can declare myself a student again, and in doing so, cut off all interest being made on those debts, and also defer those payments, because as a student, you are not required to pay back your student loans until 6 months after you graduate, or 6 months after you stop school. Because you're expected during that amount of time to be able to find a job in your field, assuming you graduated, and it assumes you graduated. So, I can defer those payments. I probably won't, but I will obviously declare myself a student, because fucking get rid of interest. Interest on that loan right now is something like, literally, it's something like 25%. It's an absurd amount of interest on that loan, because it's a student loan. Student loans, you're allowed to have that absurd amount of interest, because you also have an absurd amount of risk. Anyway, so as a student, I can get that interest gone, and that'll help. I will still make payments, but going back to that previous statement, $500 a month, and this was before I got my most recent promotion, which came with a rather hefty raise. It was actually the largest raise that my current employers have ever given any one person, and the largest raise that I've ever received at any one time. I'm not going to say how much it was, but it was a substantial amount. This was before that I was making these $500 a month payments. So I can easily, and of course, do the math, $500 a month for 4 months, that's once every semester, approximately, $2,000. I can easily do that now. I really don't have trouble doing that at this point. So I can easily go back as a part-time student, do all that, and I'm happy with that. Will it affect the channel? Maybe. Possibly. Eventually. But that's 8 months from now. I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'll worry about it when it comes. There's the chance that I will start doing recordings from Socorro because I will have time. Because those will be my days off from work here, is when I'm in Socorro. So it might be more beneficial for me to take my gaming consoles up there and wherever I end up living up there, because I will be renting probably, and start playing games there instead of here. But I'll burn that bridge when I come to it. I don't know what I'm going to do about this channel at that time. In any event, right now, this week, there probably won't be any more episodes. I'm sorry. I've been completely drained this entire week. And I know, my personal thought on the matter of going back to school after such a rough week this week at work, it's like, are you sure you're ready? Are you sure you're capable of going back to school and still have that level of energy to put forth towards work? I'm not sure. I don't know. I hope, but I don't know. And we'll find out. Anyway, I better wrap this up because we're going on an hour now of me rambling. Next Thursday, I do fully intend to start making new episodes. This weekend is going to be... Well, it's going to be rough, but not in the sense that you're probably thinking. This week at work is not going to be very rough at all. Because this weekend, we're going to be encountering a massive winter storm. You may have heard about it on the news, because it's on the news fucking everywhere. We are slated to get up to 2 feet of snow over this weekend, probably by Saturday or Sunday morning, which is a problem, of course. But it also means that I won't have a whole lot to do at work. So I may be let off early, I may be let off entirely. It just depends on what's going on at work. So I may have time to record over the weekend. I may have time to record next week. I will almost certainly have the necessary spoons to put stuff together and start recording again next Thursday. I'm sorry you have to wait that long. I wish it weren't the case that you have to wait that long. But at the same time, I will admit, like I said, a lot of it's to do with the Omega Pirate. I really just don't want to deal with that right now, so I'm not going to. The Omega Pirate is the most frustrating boss in the entire Metroid Prime series. Not just Metroid Prime 1, but all of the games. 1, 2, 3, Metroid Prime Hunters. Just, it is frustrating. There's no other word for it. So I'm going to put off playing that game. I don't know what I'm going to play next week or this weekend or whatever, but it will be a game, and I will upload it. I will. That's another problem. The power has been really, really shitty lately, and actually yesterday, or maybe it was this morning, for 4 hours our network was down because the local ISP upgraded all their software to allow for more throughput, and it completely killed any throughput. So they were dealing with that for 4 hours one morning, and so our network was down, and so even if I had videos, I would not have been able to upload them. So this week has just been bad, and this weekend is going to be worse. But I may have enough energy next week to start recording. That's the point I'm trying to make. That's where we're going. with this whole hour-long spiel. So, until next time, whenever next time will be, I will see you guys later, and thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Goodbye.